girlfriend returned from a trip acting like a stranger, just journaling and pushing me away, leaving me confused and questioning everything. So, I'm a 25-year-old guy, and I've been dating my girlfriend, who's 22, for a couple of years now. Things between us have been pretty solid, nothing beyond the typical little disagreements, and those blow over fast. We've even started living together recently, and honestly, the adjustment has been way less rough than I expected. Last weekend, my girlfriend went on this trip with her college girlfriends to a lake house one of their families owns. Just a girls-only getaway, kind of this last summer hurrah before a few of them move out of state. I was genuinely cool with it. I told her to go have a blast, no jealousy or issues on my end. But when she got back, I noticed something was immediately off. She barely looked at me when she walked in the door, just gave me one of those quick, totally unromantic hugs, and disappeared into the bedroom to unpack. She never really said she missed me or seemed all that happy to see me. The whole time she was away, our texts had felt weird. Usually, we text a lot when we're apart, but this trip, she was brief, her responses felt cold, and she took ages to reply. Since she's come back, she's been oddly quiet. Not angry or upset, but flat, just zoning out and disengaged. She's not laughing at my jokes, barely reacts to stuff we'd usually both find funny, and our conversations just fall dead. I tried asking how the trip was, expecting at least one funny story or mishap. All she said was, "It was alright," and changed the subject before I could even follow up. Not a single story or shared photo, and that is not like her at all. She's the type who comes back from any outing brimming with stories and photos, wanting to relive every moment with me. Another new thing, she's been journaling a ton since getting back. I know she's always been into mindfulness, meditation, that sort of stuff, but this is new. Like, every evening, she'll retreat to her journal instead of hanging out. I asked if everything was okay, and she just said she was tired and processing a lot. I tried gently pressing, just because the mood in our place felt so strange, but she told me I was being overly clingy and to give her some space. I've never been called clingy before, even by her, so that really stung. I even reached out to her friends, hoping maybe one of them could give me a clue if anything weird happened on the trip. They just brushed it off and told me not to worry. But I can't help myself, I keep replaying everything in my head, wondering what could have happened. I keep feeling like she went away and someone new came back, like the girlfriend I knew just switched off. She's not acting angry at me, not avoiding me, but she's closing herself off, and it's honestly making me feel frozen out and helpless. I keep racking my brain trying to figure out if I did something, or if she just needs time. Am I blowing this out of proportion? Should I force myself to let it go and give her the space she asked for? Because right now, I feel hurt, confused, and really alone, even though she's right here. This just sucks. Update 1. One friend, Ellie, didn't get involved and actually walked out of the cabin when everything started to spiral. I tried to piece things together, so I reached out to her friend for some answers. That's when I found out that more people had come along on the trip than I originally thought, but still, I couldn't get any real explanation beyond that. I'm left feeling hurt and betrayed, just grappling with the secrecy and the way my girlfriend hid it all from me. She's still not telling me the whole story, and I can sense she's holding things back. Right now, I'm just overwhelmed as I try to process everything that happened. I'm giving myself some space, hoping to clear my head and figure out where to go from here. Update 2. So yeah. First off, thanks to everyone who commented or messaged me. It always helps even a little bit to talk about this. I read everything even if I couldn't reply back to everyone. Some of it helped, some of it TBH just made me feel worse. Still, thanks. Anyway, getting to the update. It wasn't really a planned discussion or anything, just kind of happened. I had earlier asked one of her friends if something was going on. She again just didn't really open up but told me it wouldn't be her place or job to say. I thought I wouldn't get anything out of her, so I just said fuck it and that I'd try and talk to my GF later. She came home from work and was just acting off again. The usual, barely said anything, didn't eat the dinner I had prepared earlier, almost immediately went for a long walk outside, afterwards went straight to the shower and spent a long time there. Later she kind of just stayed in our bedroom laying about and not really engaging with me. I haven't seen her writing in her journal today and honestly I don't think much of it. I went in after a while just to ask her about her day, gently. I wasn't pressing or nagging about it, just calmly asked if she could please just talk to me and that I care about her and how she feels. Told her I wasn't trying to fight or blame her or anything. I just wanted to understand what's going on, and since we always share everything, that it's unfair to keep me in the dark, and that I'd support her either way whatever it was. She didn't say much, just kept mumbling about not knowing what to say, wasn't really feeling it, she was tired, etc. So I stepped back, spent some time on my own and went for a walk. Eventually later today she started opening up a little. I guess she had enough time to reflect and gather her thoughts. I'm not gonna put every single word she said here in quotations cause it feels kinda personal and also I'm still trying to process it myself. But basically, yeah. Something happened on the trip. With her and the girls. She didn't say word to word what she did, in detail, but made it really clear that it went way past what would be okay in a relationship. Like, way past. There was plans of drinking during the trip. I know my girl drinks and I do too, it has never been a problem. I was expecting it, I think it's normal and I encourage her always to have fun if she wants to, since I trust her. She's been to raves, parties, etc., and I have never seen a problem with that. It's not my right to limit her hobbies, even if I don't always match her energy. Mind you, she has never been a heavy drinker, at least not around me, and we've never had to talk about her alcohol usage. She has been a well-behaving adult for all our relationship, and if she has been drunk it has always stayed well in the limits of good taste. She said what happened wasn't planned and that it just kind of did, and that she wasn't herself, which honestly just made me feel a knot in my stomach, like she was preparing me for something really really bad. So I encouraged her to just say it, that she has already said enough for me to not back down now. I deserve to know about this. She said the trip honestly went well regarding to original plan. They drank, went to the sauna by the lake, swam, played games, hung around normal. Doesn't sound awful, right? Sounds like a normal weekend trip to me with friends. So later that night they had been drinking more, partying, listening to music, enjoying themselves. Some of them were drinking and hanging out in the hot tub, and some of them had hung around inside the cabin playing a board game and talking. My GF kind of talks in circles about this and tries proving during our talk how it was in the end a good trip and that they all enjoyed it. Eventually though she gets to the point and tells me why she's been down. Later in the evening someone had suggested they do a drinking game. Honestly don't see an issue with that since I like partying and games too. It's all just good fun within its limits. They had played bottle spin, the usual, with a twist of drinking or doing the dare. A couple of the girls were pushing it, encouraging it. She admitted she went along with it and wanted to play along, but the way she said it. Ike. She looked ashamed and kind of said it quiet. The dares had been innocent and normal first, kind of tame stuff. The usual you hear everywhere. Who is your celebrity crush? What's your darkest secret? Sing a particular song. And I imagine the rest would be along those lines, but they had gotten out of hand as the game went on and more drinks were consumed. Some of the girls had dared others to kiss each other, pick out their marry/fuck/kills, pour drinks into each other's mouths, and stuff like that. Obviously sounds to me like something that can lead to something very bad very quickly. My GF says she didn't know better or deny a good time. She says she felt it was fun in the moment and didn't feel that she did anything wrong, and it was all consensual and nobody minded it, and that it's normal for girls to do after getting tipsy, and that she doesn't even remember everything that well and had a hangover the next day, and says she isn't even sure if she did anything. And that she felt bad cause she obviously doesn't like girls that way, or that she normally doesn't do these kind of things and only kind of watches from the side. She never explicitly says what she participated in and what exact actions she took during the game, but talks like she's guilty, so it's all a bit confusing. Sigh. There was one girl there with them on the trip. Let's call her Ellie. I've met her. She's the fun easygoing type and the one I mentioned earlier in my post that doesn't seem like she would hurt me or her in any way. I asked my GF if she was there since I knew she was with them and that I wanted to know if I was totally wrong about her. My GF said Ellie hadn't participated and kind of left the cabin when things started happening. She had mentioned she's not well and that she would be sitting this out, and just kind of left and came back later in the night. They had talked later that night outside, but she says nothing happened between them. Which honestly, I believe, and don't know why she brought it up since Ellie's actions don't sound suspicious anyway and I wouldn't have expected her to do anything between them. So this just feels like a weird extra detail that she added in. My GF said she hasn't talked to her or the girls much after the trip. Want you all to know I didn't yell at her or get angry. Just kind of sat there. I didn't know at first how to respond since she didn't sound like her usual considerate self. She kept saying she didn't know why she shut down and she's been feeling horrible since. That she didn't know how to tell me and that she has needed time to word her thoughts. We've been distant with each other after the talk and it's just this heaviness between us since she got back, and now I know why. I don't even know what to do now. I told her I needed space and went out for a walk, came back, kind of just sit there in the living room not really even looking at her. Am I treating her the same way now? I'm shutting her out and ignoring the problem, the elephant in the room, not acknowledging things are fucked. Obviously I shouldn't be okay with this. I don't see a life without her. So her behavior is hard to accept. Should I sleep tonight somewhere else? If I should break it off immediately? Everything is just a mess in my head and I don't know what to do or how to approach it. I've never been the confrontational type either. I love her. I really do. But I don't know if I can look at her the same way again. Not just because of what she maybe did, but because she came home and shut me out, made me feel like I was crazy, for even noticing something was wrong. I feel like this is something she should have told immediately. This obviously affects us. I'd even know if there's us after this. We've set clear boundaries in our relationship and never crossed them. The fact she's still leaving details out bothers me. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Not really looking for advice right now. You're free to comment though and tell me your thoughts. Just needed to get this all out of my head. This feels like a dream and not the good kind. Edit 1. I phoned her friend, this time demanding further answers, since I can't get them from my GF. She confirmed that there were more people joining them over the weekend than just their initial girlfriend group and that she wouldn't know what to tell me, since she really didn't care, and told to go over it with my GF if I was so concerned. Granted, I was emotional and raised my voice since I'm desperately trying to get a clear answer here. She and Ellie is the only one I can reach since I don't know any of the others' contacts. I'm so fucking done fishing for answers when no one gives me anything. It all seems useless. I'm not home at the moment and don't feel like going edit 2. I will be making an update later. Everything's kind of overwhelming and I need to sort things out for myself and think of my plans going forward. I've read through your comments. Like I said, I'm not looking for advice really, just needed to write these thoughts out somewhere. A couple people have reached out to me directly to offer support. I'm glad and I thank these people for that. Edit 3, there's a TLDR, up top, now, didn't realize at the time I was writing this post how long and messy it is. I kind of just wrote my thoughts and didn't think of it that way. Thanks for the people who let me know. Edit 4, to people getting hurt by this and telling they'd treat my girl better, sending me threats in my DMs, etc. Honestly, thanks for that. Gave me a couple of laughs in an otherwise fucked situation. Mean temperature 1267. This is always going to be a cloud over your relationship, if you continue to remain in it, until she is completely honest with you. You cannot forgive/rebuild from something when you only have guesses and ideas as to what actions were taken to violate your relationship. You owed the truth, whatever else comes of this. And no, kissing/intimate touching/oral/fucking are not things that we as women just happen to do with one another when we're tipsy. That's not how drinking works. Sure, it lowers inhibitions and impairs judgment, but it does not flip some bi-curious switch that we can't resist. If it did, Ellie would have had no reason to retreat to her cabin and avoid whatever happened. You're being trickle-truthed and gaslit, though at this point, let's just call it what it is. You're being lied to about having been cheated on. At the very least, I'd advise first and foremost, no sex until STI testing has taken place. Second, the truth, all of it must come out if there's any hope of repairing this relationship, if that is worth your time and effort. First of all, remember your happiness isn't determined by whether or not you guys stay together. Sounds like she cheated. Guess what? A lot of people get blackout drunk and don't cheat. Maybe she got drunk, it lowered her inhibitions, and turns out she is bisexual. Drinking is not an excuse. Sure, she is embarrassed, but she did what she did and needs to come to terms with it. My GF says she didn't know better or deny a good time. She says she felt it was fun in the moment and didn't feel that she did anything wrong, and it was all consensual and nobody minded it, and that it's normal for girls to do after getting tipsy. Going down on each other or whatever they did is not a normal thing for girls to do after getting tipsy. She is trying to normalize what happened. My ex went to a party and slept with her ex-boyfriend. She swore for years she was drunk out of her mind. She lied. Do what you need to. Update 3. It's a lot. I need to get it all out for closure, for myself, and because this is the only way I can process what went down. I'm staying somewhere else for a while, probably a few more days until I sort out my next steps, splitting off from her, beginning the end of this chaos. I finally sat down with Ellie and had a real conversation. It wasn't quick or easy, we talked all evening. At first, she was hesitant, closed off, not wanting to get involved, but after a while, she opened up. She was the only one who wasn't drinking at the party or participating in the mess, and I respect her for being straight with me when everyone else was just deflecting or outright lying. Ellie told me what really happened. The group had been drinking heavily, and at some point, a few of the girls invited some guys over who were staying nearby. I had no idea there would be random guys involved. Ellie wasn't sure if bringing them over was the plan all along or just something that happened in the moment, but either way, she didn't know about it beforehand. Things escalated pretty quickly. The drinking games intensified with those guys in the mix. According to Ellie, my girlfriend, scratch that, my ex, ended up making out with 2 different people. One of the girls, the same one, who told me not to worry, who dodged all my questions when I reached out before, and one of the guys. There was a lot of touching, and it was far beyond just playful. As far as Ellie knows, my ex didn't actually have sex with anyone that night. She says she left before anything like that happened, but by that point, it was well past anything I'd ever be okay with, way beyond anything we ever agreed would be acceptable in our relationship. What destroyed me most was this: Ellie said my ex wasn't even that drunk when it happened. Tipsy, yeah, but she wasn't blacked out or out of control. She was laughing, involved, right there in the middle of it, and by all accounts didn't seem pressured. Not out of it, not confused, not like she later tried to make it sound. Ellie said she left because she felt uncomfortable, and when she came back later, my ex was still in full-on party mode, slurring her words, a complete mess. I tried talking with my ex over the phone. What I got was mumbling and the silent treatment. I flat out told her, I know what you did, and the least you can do is admit it to me before I break things off. I asked if I ever meant anything to her, if everything we had was just a lie or an act. I even asked how long she'd been having problems with drinking, because I always saw her as a mature, smart woman. She started sobbing, tried to tell me I should come home and that she could help me understand, that even if she did do it, she still loved me and wanted to make up for it. But I'm done. I can't stay in something where I'm lied to, gaslit, made to feel crazy for noticing what's right in front of my face. She could have come home and told me the truth instead of shutting down and keeping me in the dark, should have been honest with me the second she walked through the door. Hell, she should have tried to own up to what happened the moment it happened. But honestly, even that wouldn't have made it right. I'm moving forward now, no more waiting, no more questioning. I know what I need to do. If anyone out there is going through something similar, you're important. You deserve better. Love yourself and know your worth. She definitely downplayed everything, tried to gauge my reaction about the makeout with the girl just to avoid the real kicker, that she had her fun with another guy. Now I see it clear as day. Update 4. I thought I was done. I really did. I was staying at my buddy's place, had started looking at apartments, even talked to a lawyer about our lease situation. I was ready to close this chapter and move on. But then everything got turned upside down again. It started when I went back to our place to grab more of my stuff. She wasn't supposed to be there, she'd been staying at her sister's place since our last phone call. But when I walked in, there she was, sitting at the kitchen table with red, puffy eyes and a stack of papers in front of her. The papers were printouts. Screenshots of text messages, social media posts, photos. My stomach dropped when I saw them because I recognized some of the people in the photos, including that girl from the trip, the one Ellie said she'd made out with. She looked up at me and said, "I need to show you something. About the trip. About what really happened to me." I almost walked out right there. I was so tired of the lies, the half-truths, the manipulation. But something in her voice stopped me. She sounded scared. Not guilty scared, but genuinely terrified. She spread out the photos and screenshots. What I saw made my blood run cold. There were pictures from that night, pictures I'd never seen before. Pictures of her looking completely out of it, way more messed up than anyone had told me. In some of them, she looked barely conscious while people were all over her. But here's the thing that really got me. There were messages between some of the girls from before the trip. Messages talking about loosening her up, about how she needs to live a little, about bringing guys over specifically because she's too uptight. They'd planned this. They'd planned to get her wasted and put her in situations she'd never normally be in. One message from the girl she supposedly made out with said, "Don't worry, what happens at the lake stays at the lake. She won't even remember half of it anyway." I sat down hard in the chair across from her. "Where did you get these?" Turns out, one of the other girls on the trip, someone I'd never met, had been feeling guilty about what happened. She'd reached out to my ex a few days ago and sent her everything. Screenshots of the group chat, photos that were taken that night that she'd saved on her phone, even some videos that I couldn't bring myself to watch. My ex was shaking as she explained. "I don't remember making out with anyone. I remember playing the drinking game, and then everything gets really fuzzy after that. I woke up the next morning with bruises on my arms and legs that I couldn't explain. I thought maybe I'd just fallen or something." She showed me more messages, the girls discussing how easy it had been to get her to drink way more than usual. How they'd been adding shots to her drinks without telling her. How funny it was that she was finally letting loose. I felt sick. Not just because of what might have happened to her, but because of how I'd treated her when she came home. She'd been shutting down because she was trying to piece together a night she couldn't fully remember. She'd been journaling because she was trying to make sense of fragments of memory that didn't add up. "Why didn't you tell me this from the beginning?" I asked. She started crying again. "Because I didn't know. I thought maybe I'd cheated on you. I thought maybe I'd wanted to do those things and just couldn't remember because I was drunk. I was so ashamed, and everyone kept telling me it was no big deal, that it was just girls having fun." We sat there in silence for a long time. I didn't know what to think or feel. Part of me was angry, at her friends, at the guys who took advantage, at the whole situation. Part of me felt guilty for how I'd reacted. And part of me was just broken. For her, for us, for everything. The worst part? I still don't know what really happened that night. These photos and messages prove that she was way more intoxicated than anyone let on, and that her friends set her up. But there are still gaps. Still things that don't add up. I'm not moving back in. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Too much has happened, too much trust has been broken, not just between us, but with the people around us who we thought we could trust. But I'm not walking away either. Not until we figure out what really happened that night. I've convinced her to go to the police. Not sure if they'll do anything since it's been weeks, but she deserves to know the truth. We both do. This whole thing is so much bigger and darker than I thought. I keep wondering how many other girls these people have done this to. How many other relationships they've destroyed with their sick games. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know if we go anywhere from here. But I know I can't just abandon her when she might have been assaulted by people she trusted. Everything is fucked up and I don't know how to fix any of it. Update 5. I wasn't planning on writing another update, but everything has spiraled so far beyond what I thought was possible that I need to get this out somewhere. The police thing didn't go how we expected, and now I'm questioning everything all over again. We went to the station together 3 days ago. I thought it would be straightforward, show them the messages, the photos, explain what happened. But the detective we talked to seemed skeptical from the start. He kept asking why we waited so long to report it, why she didn't go to a hospital that night, why she didn't save any physical evidence. The worst part was when he asked her to walk through what she remembered. She started talking about the drinking games, about feeling dizzy and confused, but then she mentioned remembering some kissing and touching that felt consensual in the moment. The detective's whole demeanor changed. He basically said that if she participated willingly in some activities, it would be nearly impossible to prove the other stuff wasn't consensual too, especially weeks later with no physical evidence. We left feeling more defeated than when we went in. But that's not even the worst part. Yesterday, I got a call from an unknown number. It was one of the guys from that night. I have no idea how he got my number, but he knew who I was, knew about our police report, everything. He told me I was making a big mistake and that if I kept pushing this, things would get complicated for both of us. He said my ex had been all over everyone that night, that she was the one suggesting they play more intense games, that she was laughing and having fun the whole time. Then he said something that made my blood freeze. Ask her about what happened in the bedroom around 2 a.m. Ask her if she remembers that part. I confronted her about it when she came back from her sister's place. At first she said she didn't know what he was talking about. But when I pressed her, she got that same look she had when she first came home from the trip, distant, panicked, like she was trying to remember something just out of reach. I think I went to lie down at some point. My head was spinning and I felt sick. But someone came in. She trailed off, staring at the wall. I can't remember if I told them to leave or if I wanted them there. Everything is so fuzzy. This is what's killing me. I don't know if she's genuinely struggling to remember being assaulted, or if she's slowly admitting to things she actually chose to do. The guy's phone call felt like a threat, but it also felt like someone who was confident about his version of events. Her friends have completely cut contact with her since we went to the police. Even Ellie won't return her texts now. The girl who originally sent the screenshots has apparently deleted everything and is claiming she misunderstood what happened that night. I'm stuck between wanting to protect someone who might have been seriously hurt, and feeling like I'm being manipulated by someone who cheated on me and is now creating an elaborate cover story. The not knowing is eating me alive. We're supposed to see a therapist together next week, someone who specializes in trauma and memory issues. But I keep wondering if I'm just prolonging something that's already over. Part of me wants to believe her, wants to fight for her, but another part of me wonders if I'm just being naive. The guy who called me? He mentioned something else before he hung up. He said there were more photos from that night, ones that would clear everything up if I really wanted to see them. He said he'd send them to me if I promised to drop the police stuff and stop making everyone's life difficult. I don't know what to do. Do I look at photos that might destroy any remaining trust between us? Do I ignore a potential threat and keep pushing for answers? Everything feels like it's falling apart, and I'm not sure there's any way to put it back together, but I can't shake the feeling that I still don't know the whole truth about what happened that night. Réessayer Claude Pout faire des erreurs. Assures vous de vérifier ses réponses.